All right, so we're going to talk about theme, okay? So theme, if you look at the anchor chart, we split the word up into theme with the THE, and then it makes the word messages. So the message of the story, okay? So when you're reading a story, every single story, whether it's a poem, a drama, a fiction, nonfiction, it's all trying to teach you something, okay? Now, nonfiction doesn't really have themes. It just has a main idea, and it's teaching you something. But in fiction and things like that, genres that have characters, they all have a lesson. So you have to think, when you're reading a story, any story, you have to ask yourself, what did you learn from the story that can apply to real life? Okay, so when you're reading, okay, are you learning a different way to be kind? Are you learning how to be polite to other people, to not second guess yourself? What are you learning? Okay, now I also want you to think, what lesson did the character learn in the story? So you might not have learned it because you already know it, which that's awesome, but the character has also learned something. They've grown in some form or fashion, and we have to think, what's the theme? How did the character change from the beginning to the end? What changed about them? How do they act differently? What do they do differently? What do they say differently than they did at the beginning? That probably has something to do with the theme. What bigger message could the author be saying about life? So a lot of times in poetry or fiction, the author's giving you a story and you think it's very simple, but actually there's a much deeper meaning and a bigger lesson that the author is actually trying to teach you. So you really have to dig deep and to figure out what that theme is. So we have two rules when it comes to theme. First of all, it has to be a lesson. Okay, what did you learn? It's a lesson. Second of all, it has to be universal. Remember, universal means it has to be able to apply to everybody. So you cannot use any character names or anything like that. It has to be able to apply to everybody. Okay, so remember when we talked about theme, we said theme. It's the message of the story. It's what I learned. Okay, so be thinking, theme is the message of the story. Think, what did I learn? Okay, rule number 1, it has to be a lesson. Rule number 2, it has to be universal. All right, one more time. Theme is the message of the story. It's what I learned. Rule number 1, it has to be a lesson. Rule number 2, it has to be universal. All right.